Today we will learn how to make a simple wire and clump tree. For this we will need some wires, a pair of scissors, a paper cutter, a plier, some PVA glue, paintbrush, clump, homemade or ready-made. I will be using the ones that I made at home. Jute rope for texture, brown paint, and spray glue to stick the clump to the tree. So let's start by cutting the wire to the desired length. It can be of any length depending on the size you want to make. For a 2.5 inch tree, we would be needing 13 centimeters of wires. We will be making a bigger tree and using 45 centimeters of wire. Now without delaying things, let's get to work. We can use any copper wires which is available with you. I'm using the electrical ones because this is what I have at home right now. And since the lockdown is in effect, I cannot go to the market to buy any other thing. Things like the floral wires are much more easier to bend and much more easier to work with because you don't have to remove the sleeves, you don't have to cut them into pieces, they come in a set size, so you can use them also. Now after we have cut the wire and we are ready to make our tree, we need to bend them in half and twist them to give the tree its shape. Leave a small loop below so that we can make it the root. Keep twisting and bending until you get the shape you imagined in your head. Divide the wires into two parts, not necessarily equal, and then start twisting the branches. This is the shape that you're looking for, and from here we can start giving the tree its actual shape. The more branches you can make will make a tree look real. And be very careful while twisting the wires and bending them because it can poke your fingers and hurt you. If the wires are very stiff, you can use the pliers to twist it and bend it. That can make your work very easy and fast. Further divide them and make the branches. The best thing about making trees with a copper wire is that you can bend it and give it any shape, even after you made the tree. So it's not that difficult. If you want to change the shape, you can just bend it. It can be spread all over, or it can come closer. So even reshaping it after twisting and bending it is possible. Once you have the shape that you're looking for, it's time to give the root its shape. There are two ways. You could either cut this into half and spread the root all over,
Or you could just press them together and give it a shape. You can go for any one process. I would cut this into half. It is much easier. It just happens like this. Now you can just take 2 or 3 at once. Spread it all over to give it a balance. There, the tree is standing on its own.
Once we are done giving the tree its shape, we can start giving it its texture. Here I am using the jute rope to give the tree a coarse texture. You can use latex, clay, silicone or paper, anything you are comfortable with. With a PVA glue, we stick the rope to the tree and cover all the branches as well and let it set.
This is how the trunk will look like. And what am I doing? Look here.
You're building tree.
I'm making a tree.
Making tree? Yeah. How can you make such a tree in our house?
Come and see for yourself.
What you're making up for 10
Where are you taking the trees?
I'm taking them here.
Why?
Because I'm glad hear something. First I should go to the tree.
Run fast. What is this? Your small house.
Yes.
Ow.
There, that's a tree here. I'm going to have
Okay.
these trees up these.
Are you happy now?
Just wait. Done. Now you can play.
You should cover the trunk and the branches with the rope. Let it sit to dry for some time before we apply the color.
Now after the ropes are dry, we take our paintbrush and the color. I'm using Faber-Castell's Van Dyke Brown to color my trunk and the branches. Using this color because I like my trees dark. You are free to use whatever color you want. You can go for a greyish tone, you can go for a blackish tone. It depends on your imagination and the kind of tree you want to make. You just dip the brush in the color and start
brushing it. Simple. Just as you can see, after we are done coloring the tree, we'll let it sit and dry for some time. And then I will teach you how to put the clump on the tree. Now we can let it sit. It will take some time to dry. And once this is dry, we'll come back to it and finish it. The color is dry, and now we are ready to give the tree its final look. And for that, we will glue the clump to the tree using a spray glue. As I told earlier, I will be using the clumps that I made at home. So I'll be posting a video very soon on how to make these clumps at home. This glue is very strong and can stick to furnitures and walls very easily, so please be very careful applying it. Spray the glue from a distance so that by the time it reaches the tree, it is tacky enough for the clumps to stick on it. Try avoiding the trunk because the clumps can stick onto them very easily. You can take small clumps and apply them on the branches. After we put the first layer, you let it set for some time, and then we put another coating of glue. Keep spreading the clump all over the tree to give it more mass. You might have to spray 2 or 3 coats of glue and clump onto the tree depending on the size of the clump you have. If it's too small, you might need to put in 4 or 5 coats of spray and clump to give it the proper mass. And if they are big enough pieces, 2 to 3 coats are more than enough. We've put in 2 coats and I've got a good covered up area, and I think 1 more coat would be enough for this. Let it dry for some time. It might take half an hour to 1 hour for the glue to stick properly and for the clumps to set. After that, remove all the small clumps from the trunk and color the branches wherever the glue has been sprayed. I hope you've learned how to make a tree and you'll try it with a kid too. It's fun to involve children in projects as it opens their world to creativity. Leave a comment and press the bell icon Like, share and subscribe my channel. Stay tuned for more.